Chance to look over the minutes? Is there any additions or corrections?
Looks good to me. Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay.
Second.
All right, the minutes have been made a motion to approve and seconded. Call for vote. Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Brusink, aye.
And since we don't have anything timed right there, why don't we jump down to number 7 so Chris can get about his day.
Good.
Chris?
Thank you. Good morning, and well, we did receive tax statements, and we have 2 properties that the city acquired, and we're in the process of having them sold. They were nuisance properties that we're in the process of having the property owner clean up. And based off the recommendation from our city attorney, he recommended that the council passes a resolution asking for those taxes to be abated for this particular year because the city owned it.
Give him a chance to look that over real
Yep,
quick.
I passed your city resolutions
Okay.
and then the one, I combined the 2 onto one.
Mhm.
This isn't any farm ground or anything else like that, it's just.
Obviously, it's within the city limits.
Yes.
Any plans for the property now that you guys acquired it?
Hopefully get the property, soon to be property owners who bid on them, are where they are cleaning it up, actually fixing the foundations and trying to get these back on the tax rolls. But before that happens, we're going to do an inspection, make sure everything is okay, and then we will release the deeds and then have it actually
Sure.
purchased by these property owners, so. Otherwise, they were just, unfortunately, looks like they were gonna fall in on each other.
Well, I watched the improvements on one of them, it's just been remarkable.
Yes.
So, yeah.
One on Fourth.
No. I don't have any questions on it. The first copy you had was the city's resolution. That one is the amounts.
We have a few more next week too that we'll have to abate. Conservation got it, there's some other ones Melinda's got.
Morning, Sheriff.
Morning. Hopefully I've got the security risk.
What date did you acquire these properties, Chris?
Oh, we acquired them, I know we acquired them last year,
Okay,
so,
okay,
It's been a spell.
You did talk with Larry though, correct?
yes.
Yeah.
okay. All right. Then I'll make the motion to go with resolution 2485, abate some taxes here in the city of Benton.
Second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. On that tax abatement, I will call for vote. Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Brusink, aye.
And we've got those, would you please sign them?
I'll give you a
Okay.
copy.
Oh, okay. Thank you. And they should be back on the tax rolls, we anticipate next year.
Another one back on the tax rolls.
Yes. Did you talk to you yesterday? Okay. Because I did call him.
And hand me the city's resolutions as well, please. Thank you.
Those are our copies.
There you go, thank you. That's all I had. Thank you again for your time this morning.
Take care, Chris.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Take it easy, everyone. You do the same?
Okay, let's go back to item 4. We need to set a public hearing date.
Yep, that was that parcel that Ray and Shelby talked to you about last week. But in order to properly dispose of it, we have to set a date for that hearing, and then we had to publish a notice for that. So I have a resolution prepared to set the date of September 24th at 9:30 a.m. to relinquish the county's interest in that parcel number
It says,
440-00150 that was owned, that was transferred to conservation, and they're wanting to give it back to Heights Choosing Farm.
okay. Can I get a motion to set that public hearing date? One of you, please, okay?
Second.
All right, that's been moved and seconded to set that public hearing date, September 24th at 9:30 a.m. Call for vote, please. Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Burchett, aye. Is there a foundation in there?
Limestone.
We have 2 law contracts.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Sheriff, you've got 2 law enforcement contracts.
Yes.
Van Horn and Keystone.
Keystone gave us 2 copies, right?
We need to sign. Did I sign them both?
You did not sign the Van Horn
All
one.
right.
So we need to sign that one.
Hey, let me see your instrument. Thank you.
Here's the 2 Keystone one.
That is signed too.
They left the original back.
We'll give them a copy back. There you go. Or, yeah, we'll have 2 originals. Thank
Okay,
you.
and then here's, that's 2 of the same one. This is Van
Yes.
Horn.
Okay, thank you.
There's also a resolution that had a typo last week for Derek, if we want to pass and sign.
This is the Keystone copy I think you got. This is one. These are all at the same rate, what was it,
Yes.
32.50?
Yep.
This is a resolution that we passed last week, but there was a typo, so we need to re-sign it. And when you fellas are ready,
I'll make a motion to approve the law enforcement contracts with Van Horn and Keystone.
Second.
all right. That's been moved and seconded. Call for vote. Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Burchett, aye.
Seconded. That's one of them.
After the double.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for letting us use your walk-in cooler yesterday.
Anytime.
There's one, and there's that resolution.
Hopefully it goes to good use.
Yeah, well, we have that, all of a sudden one morning was 50 degrees in there,
Hmm.
so we had to have them come and fix it. It was about 2 weeks ago.
There's the other Keystone, and then Van Horn's. Thank you.
Here's the cooler for
Okay, thanks.
us. Do those separate if you will, please.
I'm sorry?
Do those separate, please.
Yes. two simple ones here.
Okay.
That's an annual, and this one's 2 weeks. And the one you've got in your hand, I think, is item 6, Tracy.
You ready?
Anytime.
Okay. Make a motion to approve the Class C retail alcohol license for Cedar Ridge Vineyard LLC. Yearly.
Yep, it's an annual. This one you've got, Gary?
Well, that one's just the 5-day, 11th through the 15th, I thought.
I thought that was an annual. I thought there was 24th to the 25th.
Yeah. September 1, 2024 to, oh, that's policy.
Oops. Okay.
Right.
It's a 5-day.
Yeah.
5-day, October 11th
15th.
to October 15th.
I did the same. Okay. So that's an 11-day non-annual. Okay. Yep.
4-day. 5-day. 11th, October 11th to October 15th.
Okay. All right. I'll call for vote. Don't think I did that yet.
No, you didn't.
Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Duchesne, aye.
Then the other one is
Casino Farms.
Messina Farms.
Make a motion to approve their alcohol license, 14 days, from October 1, 24 to October 14th of 24.
Can I get a second?
Second.
And that's been moved and seconded. Call for vote. Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Duchesne, aye.
Item 9 is to appoint Corey Raines as Kayla Harrison's replacement on EMS Advisory Council for Shellsburg EMS representation.
Make a motion to approve that.
Second.
That's been moved and seconded. Call for vote, please. Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Duchesne, aye.
And that brings us to Myron.
Morning.
Good morning, sir.
First two items, a bridge replacement project on 69th Street between 29th and 30th Avenue. Bridge on the 5-year plan to replace. I think you lives the closest there, but I know you're probably, it's got a weight limit bridge. I know it messes with Dean Harther moving his towel plow around quite heavily. I know he's looking forward to this bridge being replaced because that'll eliminate him having to loop around on a lot of his travels. Bridge is being drawn up and fully designed, 110, is it 110? 100 foot long, 30 foot wide. I have the two items on the agenda. One is a federal aid agreement with the DOT to to fund this bridge with the County Highway Bridge Program project that would get 100% reimbursement back to the county for the construction of this bridge. And then actually I have the title sheet that I need all 3 board members to sign before we distribute that to the contractors to bid on.
So you need a motion to approve.
Need a motion to approve the federal aid agreement for the bridge replacement with the Iowa DOT, and then I need a motion to sign the final plans for the bridge replacement project.
Okay, so there's 2 of them, boys.
What he said.
On the first one. Okay, which is to approve the federal aid agreement, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Can I get a second on that, please?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Call for vote. Primer, aye.
I just need Rick's signature here if you want to pass it to Rick and Haley's both.
And then the other one
Is the actual plan set,
On the plans.
and I need the title sheet signed on the plan set.
Motion to approve the plans.
Second.
that's been moved and seconded. I will call for vote. Primer, aye.
Stephen, aye.
Beer shank aye.
And that's all 3 of us.
Correct. Bottom right corner there, Gary.
And Haley.
Right here. Yep. Take one of those and pass all the way over to Haley.
Myron, you want this dated, don't you?
Yes, please.
Oops. It's not the 16th today, is it? It was yesterday.
Today's the 7th.
Yeah, got it.
Out east of Vinton, earlier this year, we let plans for HMA surfacing of the Rock Road from basically the Oak Grove Church, but the intersection of E24 and 32nd Avenue, or 61st Street Lane and 32nd Avenue. Starting this morning, they're starting to cover that rock up going east. When that project was being developed and designed, we followed very much closely to the existing rock road that goes down through there. The intersection of 33rd Avenue Drive that goes south there, just about where Brad Ferguson lives. Currently, the traffic traveling east has to stop at a stop sign. With the HMA paving project that we're going to be doing and taking that paving all the way around that east to the curve and north and all the way to the county line, it would be better fit for the traveling public to modify that intersection stop situation. I believe it would make more sense to remove that stop sign where it exists right now and move it just a little bit east, and instead of stopping eastbound traffic, stopping northbound traffic on 33rd Avenue Drive.
Which is a T intersection, yes.
Right. T is kind of a Y for the most
Yeah.
part. But I've got a resolution here modifying that, stating to remove the stop sign where it exists at for eastbound traffic and placing it on 33rd Avenue Drive and stopping northbound traffic on the Rock. Because here, probably in about 4 or 5 days, we'll have pavement through that intersection.
Okay, makes sense. Okay.
In the past, I think the traffic was very similar at that intersection, and you had that curve with people coming up from the south and just continued north. Most of it is northbound and then continues north. There's very little bit that turns and goes west. But with the pavement surfacing that's going to go there and the increased traffic that road is already seeing and will probably see a little bit more, it would make more sense for the traffic that's the lower traffic to be the stop situation and the higher traffic to be the through traffic.
You didn't recall the traffic count on either road, did you?
The last traffic count that was done was in 2021. At that intersection, the DOT said 100 vehicles that were on the south piece of 33rd Avenue Drive, 340 vehicles that go east around the curve north, 180 is what it shows going west on 61st Street Lane, but that 180 isn't circled on this map, which makes me believe it's actually a 2017 number and not a 2021 number.
Yeah.
And with that being asphalted, that's probably gonna.
I think that's gonna change. I mean, the traffic count that the DOT did in 21 was 650 vehicles coming out of Lynn County. If you're coming the opposite direction, it dropped from 650 to 430 to 340 to 180. I'm not sure there's that big of a drop between the county line and the county. In the Oak Grove Church, there's a fair amount of traffic that turns off and goes north on the Rock to 33rd Avenue Drive up there, west of Dave Wilhelmy's 59th Street Trail certainly has probably the biggest traffic that turn off and go because of the developed housing that's on that road. But that 340 to 180 just sounds like a huge difference that I can't believe is truly what that traffic difference is. But I highlighted that as a pink circle on the map that I gave you as the intersection in question.
Do you have a resolution number for this one yet?
Yep, it is 2486.
So there'd be a motion to approve that.
I would make a motion to approve the changes that Myron said, move the stop sign, and it's resolution 2486.
I'll second it.
Okay, been moved and seconded on that resolution of changing the stop sign placement. Call for vote. Primer, aye.
Here's your guy. There's two of them there, Gary, if you want to sign each one of them, pass them on. The other part of that road, as I was starting to talk and realized I was doing stop sign first, the map that I showed you, or handed out to you, the highlighted blue sections, particularly the curves down through Ralph's daughter lives down there, but John Castor's farm. And then you get just east of Brad Ferguson, going around that curve up the hill, past Matt Rollins and his mother-in-law, Carol, forgot her last name. And then the last curve, the curve that wraps around from 59th Street Trail almost all the way to Lynn County, when we were trying to stay basically on that old Rock Road existing profile. There are parts of that with the horizontal curves as well as the vertical hills that 45 mile an hour is about the top design speed we were able to use from our design standpoint. with it being a rock road, yeah, there's people that travel at whatever speed they choose to on that, but I would argue that most people traveling on gravel roads don't travel the 50 and 55 miles an hour that is allowed by state code. Because of the design that we utilized in order to stay on alignment, I would propose now that we're paving that we post that at 45 miles an hour. And I have a resolution here highlighting the entire stretch from 32nd Avenue and 61st Street Lane going east to 33rd Avenue Drive around that curve, continuing north to 59th Street Trail all the way to the Lake County line. We did the same with what I have always continued to call the Big Timber Road. I think it's now Kendrick Wood Products or something. But when that road was designed, had similar situations with vertical curves, and then to put a little S curve to miss the full stone schoolhouse there, that was where West Line lives. That we ended up designing that at 40 miles an hour, and we have that posted as 40 miles per hour. We've done a speed study from a pavement standpoint, but the road going out of Urbana to Center Point also has a posted 45 mile an hour speed limit. So this is not the first paved road Benton County has that has a posted speed limit on it. North of the old West Side Salvage is posted at 50 miles an hour. Another one that's existing posting signs, but because some of those vertical curves and horizontal curves were designed at nothing more than 45 miles per hour, excuse me, I think we should post that speed on that road. To aid from a safety standpoint for the traveling public. And so I have drafted a resolution recommending and establishing a 45 mile an hour speed limit along that 3.5 mile stretch.
What's in Lynn County, do you know what they're posted on there? Or they just oiled and chipped their half?
Yeah, and they're gonna cover it with asphalt.
They are.
They're gonna put a single lift of asphalt all the way to the concrete. We
Just
just,
time or what we're
with the
doing?
same contractor while we're doing the surface lift.
Okay. 'Cause I can't tell you what they got. I know there's signs there, but I can't tell you what they are, what they're posted.
I know they have the route marker, an E24 sign right there just east of Nemechek's house, because I just drove it last night because there was a question asked late yesterday afternoon about the county line, so I looked at it on my way home. I can't recall whether they have some posted speed limit signs or not, but I know it's gonna take, laying 4 inches of asphalt, it's gonna take a while to get from multiple days to get from the church to the county line, getting that first lift of asphalt down.
Then my next question is, the 3 houses up there by Oak Grove Church that are at the roll on the north side of the road, are you gonna drop the speed there down to 35 or keep it at 45 to the Oak Grove intersection?
My proposal was 45 all the way through there.
Okay.
We did 35 temporarily when roundabout project was going on at Urbana, I think it was. But that resolution was just a temporary 35 mile an hour speed limit there. Would like to think the situation that caused some concern with the speed out there, that with 45 and with the pavement and the separation between the pavement lane and the rock shoulder and the grass area being mowed, that will be less of a concern, even with 45 miles an hour.
Is there a motion to approve that? I'm gonna guess it's resolution 2487. Sound right? Yeah, there's got a nod. Okay.
Second.
I guess I made the motion. Okay. I will call for a vote. Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Hersink, aye.
And the last thing I had is Doug, my shop foreman, is recommending, based on mileage and age, that the Dodge Durango that I drive get replaced in secondary roads. He went around here a couple weeks ago and talked to Tice at Belle Plaine, Tice at Blairstown, Van Horn Auto, and Urban Motors to get a quote for a similar midsize SUV. He received a quote back for a Jeep Grand Cherokee from Tice Belle Plaine, $39,769. And a quote from Tice Blairstown for a Chevy Blazer, $40,354. Van Horn Auto did not submit a quote for either a Ford or a Chevy, Ford Explorer or Chevy Blazer, and Urban Motors did not submit a quote because GMC does not have a vehicle that fit that spec midsize SUV. The only thing that Doug commented that the specs that he wrote for that midsize SUV was that the Jeep Grand Cherokee had manual folding mirrors instead of the automatic folding mirrors. My mindset is fairly a minor issue type of deal, so my suggestion, recommendation is probably to just go with the Jeep Grand Cherokee from Tice Belle Plaine and save the, what, $700?
You can fold your own mirrors in, huh?
Correct.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve the vehicle from Belle Plaine, Tice.
Second.
Okay, that's been moved and seconded. Call for vote, please. Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Hersink, aye.
The Ringo's got 146,000 miles on it right now, so.
We'd be putting that on that website.
Put it on the public surplus auction.
Sure.
I think there's another vehicle or two, and I think Doug's planning on probably getting rid of some other miscellaneous stuff. It's just, if you don't have more than $1,000, I think when you start throwing some miscellaneous stuff on there, that will write a check back to the county until it's over $1,000. So it's smart to do some of the small miscellaneous stuff when you got big items.
Okay.
Other than that, that's all I had for you today.
Okay.
And just a reminder, on Monday morning, I sent out an invite a month or two ago, Safety Action Plan workshop here in this room next Monday morning from 8:30 and 11:30 if you're free. Send it to all of the elected officials. The Iowa County Engineers Association succeeded in securing a grant, federal grant, and they hired a consultant that 97 of the 99 counties got on board on to get an updated safety action plan written. It has a lot to do with putting safety into the design of road projects or projects that could be safety oriented as projects of their own, that they're going to be talking about different aspects of that. And then they're meeting with myself, and if Ben's free, just to go specifically over some projects they have picked out that those could be applied to. But I just wanted to remind you, I know that they're coming. I think one of the guys is actually from California or Nevada that I think is part of that team that might be one of them that's here, as well as another one of the consultants. But I know I included the sheriff's office, both Belle Plaine and Vinton PD, a number of Vinton, Schellsburg, Vinton Community School Districts, I'm not sure who all, and all of the public offices I think we have in the county, and hoping that maybe 10 to 20 people show up to see that presentation.
You want all three of us?
I included all three of you in there, but I think, you know, if two or more of you are free and are gonna be here, that Haley would prefer that that gets posted, but if it's only gonna be one of you, then it shouldn't matter.
Right. Let me
There's no
know.
action that's gonna be taken, so technically it wouldn't have matter if more than one of you were here, but
And
I know your
I
past
won't live
practice
stream it.
is if more than two of you are in a outing to post that, but I don't know if that was the case yesterday or not. I mean, that was kind of the same similar situation, you know,
Like
it's not any
no action
actions
taken.
that's gonna be asked to be taken, it's just information.
What time's that?
8:30 in this room.
Do you need a coffee pot or anything to borrow? We have a bigger one.
Okay, I will think about that between here.
It's in the morning, people might want coffee.
Yeah,
You're on that safety committee?
Okay.
Okay.
Blairstown lighting, what's happening besides it's dark?
contacted the DOT, and according to the email I got, none of the intersections on Highway 30, the DOT feels warrant full intersection lighting, like we have at 30th, 26th, 33rd, and 27th. Destination lighting would be allowed at all of them. We have a light at all of them. I got the implication from the DOT that they would be, at least the guy sending the email sounded like he'd be receptive to two destination lights at Blairstown Van Horn corner. But I know years ago, there used to be two destination lights at 131, one on each side, as well as one on each side of, at Van Horn, Blairstown, before it was 4-lane. And the DOT staff at that time said one destination light was all that was allowed at a highway intersection. But I don't know if that's an interpretation that changes with staffing. But what I was told is that at this point that it's not warranted, so you wouldn't be able to use the C-STEP grant, which paid for 55% of the installation costs. So whatever lighting we choose to do there is going to be at the county's expense. And like I said, the email implies that just a single destination light would be all that would be allowed.
We paid for the light that's there on the south side, right? You paid for it?
Yes.
Was that REC? You remember?
That light comes off of the ITC pole, so I'm wondering if it's an light bill. I can't remember. I know I started to research that because I think it's, I want to say the two power companies have power on one side or the other, but they both don't. I think it was one, the time when there was two lights there, one was from Line, one was from REC.
What I'm finding is the width of the road at the Van Horn corner, you know, it widens out there. I'm getting a lot of complaints right now. People are missing the intersection. It needs more lighting.
Could you explore the cost to put lighting on the north side there? Probably have to come up from that, I think the electricity closest would be that farmstead there.
It looked like there was a pole that came down, because there used to be power to the old house and shop that was there on the
That's
north
true.
side, and they didn't take all of that power poles out. But I thought it was still right down to the right-of-way line.
Huh? Well, that'd be cool.
Now, I was starting to read, and I didn't get it all fully read, and it makes sense that the type of lighting that you put up puts out a different pattern that could be seen potentially better from a distance versus light that's directed straight down. That might be better suited if you're gonna be limited to just a destination light. So if you see that in advance, approaching it to aid in reminding the traveling public where that intersection is.
I like the one that was at the Luzerne corner. Looked like a big searchlight, very bright.
The next intersection that goes across Highway 30 that I'm aware of is Chelsea. And I think there's more than one light there.
No, there's only one.
Only one.
Yeah, last time I went, I was over to Ames not too long ago, and I started noting all of the paved intersections that come up to 4-lane Highway 30. And everything I was traveling west through Tama and Marshall County, you find one single destination light.
I have a gentleman that called in with concerns on his road, and rather than go through this, I'll just hand this over to the fellas.
All right.
Just want to pass that over to him, please. Got name and phone number,
Okay.
address. Believes they need some gravel, so. Okay,
Okay.
if you'd look into it, thank you.
Sure.
Okay. Anything else for Myron? Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thanks.
Well, we got item 11 to discuss and possibly rescind the action on resolution 2467, which is mileage and expense
Yep.
reimbursement.
So we discussed that last week regarding what Alicia reported on the mileage and then the pool car. And we can't implement these changes without employees signing off. You guys agreed to wait until January 3rd. So since it was approved by that action, we didn't formally rescind your action, so.
Makes as much sense this week as it did last.
Well, and I figured after you listened to Hartland
Sure.
about the handbooks, so.
Yeah. Any questions? Okay, then I need a motion to rescind that action by a resolution.
Well, it's just,
Well,
I think by
excuse me,
motion.
rescind the resolution 2467. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, I'll call for vote. Primer, aye.
Team and I,
Beer shake aye.
Okay, and Mona stepped out. So, let's ask about reports. What do we have?
The Heartland meeting.
We definitely had the Heartland meeting.
I thought it was very good this year.
I,
EMS Tuesday night, I stayed here the whole thing, so
okay.
getting more participation from towns, which is better.
Okay. Gary, do you have anything?
We already discussed the meeting last week.
Okay. Obviously, we had the meeting last week with Heartland, and then on Friday, I had Central Iowa, was workforce development. We didn't have a quorum. So, I'm glad I went to the Zoom rather than travel to Iowa City. So, and that would be about it.
And then we had our all-employee meeting yesterday.
Which I thought was very good. So, Mona,
Sorry about that, the car's in the shop, so I had James calling to tell me the damage. So I needed to get approval from you guys today for an out-of-state training. So May wants two of the coordinators and then her as well as another CEO to go to the annual conference in New Orleans in November from the 3rd to the 6th on complex needs. So the region, and obviously the region will reimburse for hotel, but May just went ahead, paid for the registration and all the flights. And so what would filter through us and get reimbursed is just the hotel and then meals while I'm down there.
You said that was the 3rd of November?
Yep, November
Through the
3rd.
6th?
Yep, we will fly out November 3rd and then we will fly back November 6th.
Okay. Any questions, gentlemen?
Region flipping the bill for all of it,
Yes.
majority of it.
Well, we'll be
Well,
reimbursed.
so they paid on the region, like, card, all, like, the flight and the registration, so that won't even filter through the county, because that just is automatically covered over there. The only thing that will filter through the county is the hotel itself is paid for on the credit card, and then the region pays.
Reimburse that,
Yeah, like they do everything else for me.
sure. Okay.
And I think we're gonna start submitting those monthly, right, with DebGuard anyway, so.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
because the state's asking for a bunch of extra.
Yep.
Any questions?
You and who else?
So Jody out of Lynn County, the coordinator there, and then May and me.
Okay.
But I'm the only one from Benton.
From Benton.
So moved. I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve that out-of-state training. Call for vote. Primer, aye.
Team and I.
Beer shank aye.
Then you've got here to discuss Access Hub.
Yes. So, you know,
Go into closed session.
Okay, you'd like to go into closed session. This says pursuant to Iowa Code Section 21.51I to evaluate the professional competency of an individual whose appointment, hiring, performance, or discharge is being considered when necessary to prevent needless and irreparable injury to that individual's reputation, and that individual's request a closed session. Okay,
I would like Mona to remain on the closed session.
okay. So I need a motion for that.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to go into closed session. Call for vote. Primer, aye.
Team and I.
Beer shank aye.
But I've given everybody, including myself, a heart attack.
I'll sit up here so I got a better chance of hearing. I don't hear well. All right.
so, as Michelle has said that she's kind of talked to you about that she took another position. So what we want to discuss is basically her going down to part-time until we know what's gonna happen with realignment stuff. Because until we know, we can't hire a replacement. So we're stuck between a rock and a hard place of part-time or nothing. Because we can't hire somebody without having things known. So we just kind of want to have a discussion over, because we don't know what the future looks like, and your thoughts and.
Right now, it feels better to at least have part-time than nothing, rather than just kiboshing it till we know at least, let me stick on part-time to figure out what the hub looks like when the transition does happen.
We know one thing for certain moving forward, there are 13 mental health regions, and it's being cut down to 7 districts, so we know there's gonna be 6 of the CEO groups that aren't gonna exist anymore. I don't know what the total budget is.
Neither do we.
And I don't know, see, and there's so many variables in here that nobody knows yet. As long as the region is willing to keep funding that, and you can find time to work part-time, because I know you do a lot with the Abbey Center. That, there's no way that'll be a bad thing. As long as it's region funding because we're right in the middle of the year to try to come up with county funding, and I just don't.
Yeah, and
think-
the region is not going to stop funding. We had the conversation with May when we talked about the position, and that funding is not going to go away. What we don't know is after July 1 of next year, what that funding
Yep.
looks like, if there will be funding, all those kinds of things. And so ideally, having her be part-time until we have those answers, right? Because then, when we have those answers, we have the potential to hire somebody full-time back in that position and ramp it back up.
And
But-
we don't even know who's, I would assume there's, most of these districts, there will be multiple people vying to be the CEO in the district.
We have no idea.
Because like I said, we're guaranteed there's gonna be 6 of them that won't exist anymore.
Correct.
So I would assume everybody would like to remain in there somehow. We're gonna run into the same situation with our law enforcement liaison. We don't know, I don't know if anybody in our new district has liaisons. I have no idea.
And that I don't know.
I'm gonna have to start asking questions and see who's got one, because that might be a position that we would, we have grown very accustomed to that, and it works well. Works very well for all the law enforcement in the county. Bring that in, bring her in as a county employee.
Well, and you guys are down to 25? The region's only covering 25 after next year, right?
Right now we're at 50%,
So,
and then
and then it
fiscal year 25, 26, the region would be covering 25%. But we don't know what the new district, if it's even gonna be talked about.
Well, if you guys cover, I mean, if it's, you're down to 25, potentially, it could be 100% covered. So even if the district does not pay for law enforcement liaisons, then you guys could
We would
pay
foot
Foundation
the
2
bill.
like you do now to have that law enforcement liaison
Yep,
without having to like go through the county employee thing and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, potentially,
Because
there's
currently-
options.
Currently, we pay out of our pocket too right now.
50%.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that,
So it could change.
we don't want
like I
that
said,
dumped
about-
on us all at once, that, we don't know what's going on. But we're not gonna know until, from May's update last week, it's gonna be basically the first of the year.
We will know who are the ASOs the first of the year. I don't know that we will have any kind of a budget or what is allowable to be paid for. I don't know that we will know that January 1. For sure, we will know who the ASOs are
Because
January 1.
I would think they would have they should have, if they're selected as an ASO, they should have a proposal out there of what they're gonna do.
I would assume that's probably why they're waiting and have those people being
Yep.
involved with their budget.
Yep,
Yes, because the RFPs are out now, which have kind of an overarching, these are some things that we want to ensure, and crisis services are one of those, but it's not specific as to what crisis services. It doesn't list out, and I don't know that it will list them out ever, because I don't know if the state wants to set a ceiling, do you know what I'm saying? Versus a floor. So, I don't know if
Well,
we're ever gonna
it's-
get that specific as to what's,
this is supposed to equalize services
yes,
throughout the state.
yes.
I would guess that our services are gonna go down, because I think that
It's gonna be more difficult.
I think that our region is providing more services than most.
I'm
Well,
sure they
but
are.
you, so even though the lines themselves are changing, it doesn't, there's not this invisible barrier now, right? So if the people of Benton County, we're gonna say they all go to Lynn, okay? We're just gonna pretend like they all go to Lynn. They don't have to stop going to Lynn for services. Any of the services that previously exist, given outside of the hub, right? If they currently exist, those services should not be going away. The goal is to build services, not take services away. And you don't all of a sudden get to stop going to another county just because you're not in the same district or in the same region.
That is true.
That, I give you all that. And we can keep going to Lynn, that's fine. But
We just don't know we don't know where the funding for these programs, if it's gonna be available or not.
yeah, we may end up going to Lynn and paying our own bill.
Well, and that's, I mean, that's across the board for every single district. When we know what can be paid for, then we'll have a better idea. But the purpose of all of this is not to stop funding for services. It's to try to make them more equitable, accessible, all the things, versus going, well, we cut you out of the pie and so now you get less. Because the, as May put it, the TAN district, right? So the district that Benton County got cut out of, I mean, if that's what happens down here for the district that Benton County is, it's gonna happen over here too. Because yes, our region is currently rich with services, but that's not a guarantee going forward, because it all depends upon the amount of money that every single district gets.
Well,
And they don't have a formula yet for,
We're guaranteed less money than, the blue district is guaranteed less money than the tan district because the blue district's,
Almost 5 times bigger.
yes. So they're guaranteed more funding,
Population.
just population wise.
Right.
We have
There's-
surplus funding
Yeah.
before.
See, and now we're gonna be in with, clear down to Lee County.
Yeah. I think the bottom line here was, want to make sure that you're very well aware of what's going on,
Yep.
and that you're supportive of at least having a part-time.
I don't
Upsetter.
think there's a thing wrong with the part-time because, there is so many variables that we just don't know where it's going.
Right. And then once we find out if we're funded, the Access Hub is funded, then we can gear back up.
Yep.
But right now, it's part-time beats no time.
Yep, exactly.
So
agree.
we just want to make sure that
Yep, and I
you're in
agree
the
with
loop.
that, because she is hooked up very well with the Abbey Center, and I know that her and Sarah work very well. Michelle, 2 L's. I know they work very well together.
Well,
And we should keep that just for the people that we're working with.
because the other thing, we're getting way off kilter of, you know.
Because we have no clue.
Exactly. All we're doing is second guessing
Yeah.
a lot of that. And
No sense second guessing, because,
and you just give yourself a headache trying to worry about.
Right,
things.
this is just kind of my way to kind of cover my own backside, but still make sure that the hub
Totally
is
understand.
here through the transition, because I
So
don't
it'll
wanna
be
leave it
put
high
on
and dry.
next week's agenda
okay,
to change that status. Okay.
This is a big deal for us to not fund anything or know what the funds are gonna be till after the first of the year.
Well, it's actually gonna be
I mean,
July.
It ain't gonna work.
we won't know
well,
the
and
actual,
the funding for.
Till
Exactly,
July.
Till July.
The funding for this fiscal year, for her position, that's not, I mean, that doesn't go away, that's not changing. We've got that budget set until
Through June.
July 1st. So it's not like there's a budget amendment needed, or we gotta change, or we have to worry that all of a sudden we're gonna run out of
Yeah,
funds
we're already
to-
way ahead, because
to-
we considered my benefits in this
Sure.
budget, and I didn't
Mhm.
use the benefits, so.
It's setting that, like indicated, setting, fiscal year 25.
yes.
And that's, with it being a pass-through, is we know, it's just a wag. It's just, educated guess.
When we finalize the employment change next week, are you guys comfortable with, just so we kind of figure out hours-wise, having it, 2 days a week, up to 20 hours for any additional? Are you guys, when we discuss that next week, just so I can kind of, when I come in and present, that's what I'm thinking,
We,
but.
we've done that with other positions, to put it, go ahead.
The other thing you should do is figure out her salary right now, what's the hourly wage.
I already know that. I don't know that right off the top of my head, but I've got it in a
Shows how many
spreadsheet.
pay stubs.
Next week,
And that way we've got it all.
Yep, I've got it in a
Mhm.
spreadsheet of the breakdown. of
And,
everything,
and
so.
the start date for this, you know, the exact date, so, yeah,
Prepared to it by resolution.
you bet.
Okay.
Okay.
And Haley, this will be something, when you guys are done today, if you can stop in my office, because I just have a couple questions as to what happens with sick time, vacation time, like what she currently has, if that just ceases to exist, or if it's like, we need to, so if you can just pop in my office for you.
The vacation, you can get paid out for your accruals, but the sick time does not.
I'm trying to burn through that.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
Trying to pre-print as much as I can
Yeah.
for the unknown.
Like I said, Sheriff, that's what, I mean,
Yeah,
you got this thing rolling,
Yeah.
and so we wanted to make sure that,
the unknown is the unknown, and we're just gonna have to leave it there.
okay, all right. Is there anything else? Okay. All right. There's just no sense beating the region thing to death,
yeah,
because we don't know.
Exactly.
yeah.
So, we speculate and worry, but, yeah, okay.
I got it. When will they have these new regional directors finalized?
January 1. We will know who the ASOs are January 1st. The RFP is out, it is due back to the state October 18th, and then they go through the selection process and presentations and questions and back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then it gets finalized by December 31st of who the ASOs are, and then January 1, we will know who.
And that's what may,
Yep.
So it's good
Relate
still
to
have
us.
the
Yes.
Budget by March 1st.
well, they've already got, we already know what the budget's gonna do. We already know that. It's passed through. And so you can figure high, and if you don't spend it, you don't have a budget amendment, so, yeah. And again, it's passed through, doesn't really affect the county tax roll, so.
We just have to have it in our fund balance to cover
Just
it
have to be
upfront.
able to pay the bills, yeah. So, okay. Well, let's move on.
So,
Thank you.
that's it.
See you next time.
Thank you guys very much.
All right. Unfinished business. Anything?
I am gonna work on that. Well, the budget amendment requests from departments are due to me by this Friday. That's a reminder. So I can put that notice to the paper ready. And then that township loan
Mhm.
for the Atkins Town Hall Fremont, so.
Right.
everybody got the 28E.
No, not that I know of. I've shared some examples, but I do feel like lost fund, it's for the public purpose, and that's what it's supposed to be used for, things like that.
And like you said, I look at it as a loan, it's gonna come back.
Yeah, and so it'll go right back into that
Yes.
lost funds,
Yeah.
so, yeah. Okay.
So that's what I'm leaning on for the amendment, if that's what you're thinking.
That's fine.
Okay, yeah.
And
I think that makes sense.
we're in open session just for discussion.
Mhm.
One of the things that came out in the ambulance, the
EMS.
EMS.
MSAC meeting, they're looking at 3 of the ambulances getting a remount,
Yes.
and that should be in time so that we would be able to do some media exposure that they are using this money. And I
Sure.
think that'll make people feel a lot better about their
For
taxes.
the EMS levy?
Yep.
Well, I've had a lot of inquiries also, like for townships that levy for fire. That's still in place, because that's
Yep.
for the fire. Townships do not have to levy for ambulance.
No,
So, just to clarify that.
but I think that'll be a good thing to see happen here within the next, I don't know what they think, 3 to 4 months?
It's fairly soon.
Oh, really? They're gonna get them that quick?
Well, they're gonna do, like he said, a remount. They're
Sure,
gonna
I
take the
get
old
that, they
chassis
take the, yeah,
Yep.
yep.
Put the
and
box
it
on
New chassis, yeah.
And which I did not know that until last week, that you can only do that once with that box, and that's it.
To remount them.
You can't go down 3 trucks in a row, you know, or just go. I don't know if it's a law or whatever, but they said you can only remount one time an ambulance, that's it.
Did they come to an agreement on how that money will be divided then?
No.
No,
No.
so it's just gonna, we'll just keep it sitting in there and collect interest?
Yes, yes.
That's gonna be the rough one,
Okay.
is,
I'm working on some fire district maps, and we do have the, for both reasons, for Dean asked, and once we get those all done, I feel like we could, with your approval, print out a big one for every fire department on our plotter, so that they have one. Because I know a lot of them are those old, really old and worn out ones.
We're gonna have different districts for EMS and fire.
No,
No.
those boundaries just don't, they don't align. Like, the ambulance boundaries don't follow the township boundaries or
Right.
fire necessarily. So they're two different maps, if you want to look at it that way.
those boundaries are, for fire and EMS, are absolutely crazy.
So that's where we're trying to clean those up
That's
for that purpose.
Yeah,
They might go diagonally through a field, from one corner of a township section to the next.
And at one time, that could have been an old gravel road that just got
Yep.
moved, or there's,
Uncle Joe was on this fire department, and that takes our farm, and we want Uncle Joe to be on the fire if we have one, so
used to
that's the
have those.
boundary.
the rural fire districts when they went together and did that. The only other thing would be to do a emergency service district or something like that.
The only one we have that absolutely follows the township district is Polk Urbana. The rest of them do not.
And that was back when they had their own,
Yep.
probably, too.
It's a mess,
Yes.
especially when you live at the corner
Yep.
or something. You could probably have 2 or 3, you don't know who to call, and
It all comes up in dispatch on a screen.
right,
Yeah,
right,
up
right.
to dispatch.
Yep.
Yeah, call 911 and they figure it out.
It populates and away they go.
I
Okay.
think we updated their new imagery, didn't we, already through Raycom?
I think so.
We don't have any public here for public input, so last item, let's do something else.
No motion to adjourn.
second.
Okay, been moved and seconded, call for vote, Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.